My name is Dave Trier, and I'm the VP of Solution at ModelOp. Today, I wanted to give a brief overview of our Command Center within our flagship product, ModelOp Center. Command Center provides a single pane of glass into all of the health and effectiveness of your models across the organization. In the top left, you can see right away, here are all the models that are under management within ModelOp Center. In the middle, these are all the processes that are running to manage the life cycle of those models, whether that's the initial operationalization of those models into business, the ongoing monitoring of those models, or the continuous improvement of those models and eventual retirement. And on the far right, you can see our engines or the execution environments and the state of those environments of where the models are doing their scoring for production or also running their tests or one-off batch jobs from a test perspective. Down below are all the notifications that our system are surfacing regardless of the type of model or the infrastructure. We tap into your existing investments and surface up all the model-centric information about the health checks, the tests that are run, when there are failures, and ultimately be able to allow your production support team to alert when models are deviating from their SLAs with the business. Taking a little bit further dive into the left-hand side, from a governance perspective, with clicking on the models, you can pull up our overall model catalog, which has a consistent representation of all the models across your organization, regardless of the model factory in which they're created. Whether that's a linear regression Python model, a recommender model written in Scikit, a PFA model for doing credit scoring, or an XGBoost model for doing compliance. Our catalog allows that single view into all the various models across the organization and all of the elements, the metadata, the tests, and the metrics that are associated with that model in a single view. Second, from a process perspective to enable deployment, we have our low-code automation engine that allows the organizations to define that consistent path into production for initial deployment as well as ongoing monitoring of those models and potentially notifications into environments such as ServiceNow or ITSM so that you can track those in a 24/7 capacity. But ultimately, our very flexible templated engine allows each organization to define the specific model life cycles for their organization or even at the model level and allows for that consistent tracking and lineage of those model life cycles throughout. And then ultimately, that we want to look at, okay, well, how do we monitor those models? So we pull up an example model. Once we have registered that model, our life cycle has put it into business, we can then get some really detailed metrics into how that model is performing. This case is a consumer credit approval model that is leveraging Kafka in the input as well as on the data egress side. So we capture the input and output records and bytes that are running through the model. As well, we capture some of the infrastructure metrics, the CPU and memory. And of course, we want to see, okay, well, how is this performing from a scoring perspective? So we can surface up information about the probabilities that this overall model is outputting. But most importantly, from a governance perspective, we can see how that model got into production, all the steps that it took from when a data scientist registered all of the code and other elements of the model to the point where we are reproducing those code elements in a test target environment that is approved environment with approved data sets, moving through all the testing and approval cycles and ultimately getting out into production. And then finally, from a model lifecycle programmatic perspective, because we have that automated approach to operationalization and monitoring, we can surface up some key performance indicators about the health of the program, such as, well, how long did it take to get a model into business? What was the median time it took for a user to perform those tasks? What are some of the standard activity run times? So you could really start to get a feel on, are we actually helping to streamline the path to production? Where are there bottlenecks in the process? Where are there potential human delays that we might need to support or bolster up specific teams to move those along faster? So that was a brief overview of our ModelOp Command Center. In future sessions, we'll dive into some of the details around deployment, monitoring, and governance. Thank you for your time.